Hello, and welcome to my Punishing Graven lore series. Today we will cover the story of PGR's third collaboration event, featuring Devil May Cry. Now without any further delay, Collaboration Story 3, Lamento di Phantasma. Experiment Log Entry A0001, the first record made by researcher Thomas Hell. He has come to possess a shard of the Hetero Tower, and with it he will see his dreams come true. So far, 14 failed experiments, and he has made no progress, but no research begins with his questions already answered. Experiment B5042, no progress made. C251, nothing. No matter what he tries, the current methods give him nothing, so he derives his own equations, seeks out new variables. 1677, failure. 1754, failure. Over and over, across thousands of attempts, and not once does he progress in his goal to turn back time. Long ago, he was a student of the Science Council, studying under Director Valentina. She once worked alongside prodigies like Lando and Villiers, and since then she's always felt mediocre. He never understood how someone so capable could consider themselves lesser, yet here he is now with all his meaningless skill, and he finally understands how she felt, the true pain of being mediocre. The sudden blaring of the alarm snaps him out of his memories as a series of images tear through his mind. An explosion, laughter, and a sinister grin. Having received a distress call, Grey Raven makes their way to save residents of a nearby conservation area. Over the past 2 weeks, dozens of conservation areas have come under attack by hetero creatures, and nearly all of the refugees have vanished. After arriving at the conservation, they find nothing but the aftermath of battle, pools of blood staining the ground, and walls riddled with bullet holes. They begin searching for survivors and find an emergency shelter, the door slashed apart with precision abnormal for hetero creatures. Liv calls them over, having found an injured construct named Danny. His wounds are too severe to be treated, so he gives them a recording of what happened before finally succumbing to his injuries. After burying his remains and planting a small memorial, they review the footage. They see the camp under siege from a horde of bat-like hetero creatures, but not even that should have been enough to bring such destruction. Suddenly there's a flash on screen as Danny collapses to the ground, and the only thing on camera is a glimpse of a man wearing a dark blue coat, watching as hetero creatures fly down and carry away survivors. When the video ends, Lee reports a number of hetero creatures still in the area, as a fresh wave descends on the conservation. Lee and Liv let off a rain of bullets and lasers, as Lucia takes care of any that get past their defenses. From the shadows, one of the creatures tries ambushing Commandant. Lucia moves fast, but something else moves faster. From the sky, a massive object splits the creature in two, something that can only be described as a true demon sword, and following close behind is its wielder, a white-haired man in red. The man rips through hetero creatures with inhuman efficiency, displaying mastery with both gun and blade. As he chases down the remaining hetero creatures, another young man is chasing him, Fan, the sheriff of New Oakley. He says the man's name is Dante, and for the past few weeks he's been staying in New Oakley to help them fight off the hetero creatures, or as Dante calls them, demons. Together the group heads back to New Oakley, where Dante has had no issue getting acquainted with the locals. Their first task is to find out about these demons, and he explains that they are native to his world, with his presence serving as confirmation of parallel worlds. They ask if all people from his world wield similar abilities, and he reveals his status as a half-demon son of Sparta. And as for how he got here, he doesn't know either. 2 weeks ago he was going about his business when he found himself falling out of the sky, and after that he wandered around saving people, until he finally ended up in this town. After making a report to Babylonia, Commandant decides to work with Dante, since he seems to be an expert in this field of demon hunting. They show him the information they collected, including Danny's video, and when that blue figure appears on screen, the air turns to ice. He recognizes the appearance of the man as Virgil, his twin brother. Earlier that day, Virgil stands on a rooftop observing the hetero creatures, when the sound of a motorcycle catches his attention. The rider speeds up the side of a collapsed building and lands on the roof. While he normally hates human machinery, he can't help but appreciate the rider's skill. Alpha looks at Virgil, white hair, a katana, and a dark blue jacket, just like in all those descriptions, and having finally found her mark, she steps forward and draws her blade.
あなたね。異合生物を率いる男というのは。
The two clash, and Virgil's skill leaves no openings to exploit, as Alpha attacks with relentless motivation. His power increases as he charges a blue energy, unleashing a devastating slash, and Alpha answers with a surge of lightning. Each is surprised to find the other possesses such strength, yet Virgil remains unaware of the Ascension Network, and Alpha cannot sense any punishing within him. Suddenly, a hetero creature interrupts their duel. It attacks Virgil, and he kills it with one of the energy swords. If the hetero creatures are attacking him, he can't possibly be their leader, and with that realization, she apologizes for jumping to conclusions, and the two agree to a truce. Together, they wipe out the remaining hetero creatures, and the more Alpha studies them, the more she finds off. In the middle of battle, the creatures stop attacking and swarm a nearby building, as a young girl screams out for help. After Commandant's conversation with Dante, his terminal begins to ring, and the ID appears as jumbled code, a staple for the Ascendants. He answers the call, and Alpha's face appears on screen alongside Virgil. Dante asks if Virgil is responsible for the demonic hetero creatures, but he only arrived here mere hours ago. Alpha called because of this mysterious child they just saved, a young girl who claims the mastermind is someone called the Mirror Demon. She introduces herself as Laika, daughter of Thomas Hell. She explains that during his experiments, the Mirror Demon took control of her father's body, built a structure called the Babel Tower, and infused the red tide with demon's blood, creating the demonic hetero creatures. She hands Alpha a recording her father gave her when she fled the tower, his confession. Until he was banished from the Science Council, he was a researcher who studied the properties of space-time, and at one point even dreamed of creating a warp device for humanity. After his wife died from illness, he poured all of his research into the time aspect of his work, more specifically how to reverse it. He tried every possible method with no luck, until he found a shard of the hetero tower. But what he found didn't help him turn back the clock. Instead, it opened a gate to another world, and what came through were demons. One of these, the Mirror Demon, is resting inside of him, and it's gaining power fast. At the time of recording, it's already learned how to harness the punishing virus, and used it to make the Babel Tower. The screen displays a set of coordinates, and he makes one last request to whoever sees this video, to protect his daughter. With this new information, their next steps are clear as day. Dante invites Virgil to tag along, as he has his own personal hatred of having his identity stolen, especially by a demon. The Mirror Demon managed to be accepted by the Ascension Network as an agent, and this new instability is why Alpha was looking for the culprit in the first place, so she volunteers to join the hunt. To get to New Oakley, Virgil creates a portal using the Yamato, only to find it unstable. Just when the two think they're out of options, a caravan of bandits appear, bringing with them all the vehicles they could ever want. That afternoon, the hetero creatures launched another attack on the town, and during the fighting, Alpha, Virgil, and Laika arrived in one of the bandits' seized trucks. Dante offers Commandant a drink and asks about tomorrow's plan. When the support force arrives to reinforce the town, they will set out for the coordinates Thomas left behind, find Babel Tower, and hopefully destroy it. After having gotten an earlier history lesson, Dante admits that, even for a guy who fights demons, this world is pretty rough. As for his own world, as far as the human side goes, it's fairly standard, but he's also half demon, and sometimes he can't help but wonder what world he really belongs to, but in the end he always has his family. Virgil looks over, and Dante answers with a grin, before promptly flipping him off. In the distance, the sounds of a convoy signal the arrival of Bridget and the support force. Commandant brings her up to speed, asking her to stay and protect both Laika and the town, since tomorrow the others will be away at Babel Tower. Meanwhile, Laika wanders the town. As someone born and raised in Babylonia, she's never been to a settlement on the surface, and curiosity takes over. She stumbles upon an old woman who invites her to take a seat. The woman talks about her family, the town, and even asks about Laika's past. She remembers how her father used to be so attentive and whimsical until her mother died. After that, he became darker, more obsessed. Memories of a hospital room flash in her mind, and the girl falls silent. The woman tries to say something when Laika suddenly runs out of the room, gripped by fear and panic. She can't remember anything that happened after that hospital bed. How did she get to Earth? How did she get to Babel Tower? Who was that hospital room really for? The next day, the travel group is prepped and ready to head out, while Bridget and the mayor discuss plans to evacuate the town if need be. When they arrive at the coordinates, they find the viral density slightly higher than the surrounding area, but nothing out of the ordinary. Commandant brings out an Omega weapon and fires at the area in front of them. A crack forms in space, and the attending support force members follow suit, blowing away the illusion, as a massive tower takes its place. At the top of the tower, the Mirror Demon watches the group, and remembers when it first witnessed the brothers fighting in the demon world. Back then, it was a pitiful weakling, however now it has attained new power through the Ascension Network. It summons a horde of hetero creatures, as Thomas struggles to fight back from within. On the ground, they watch as the possessed Thomas calls forth his hetero creatures. Grey Raven prepares for a breakthrough, when Dante suddenly holds them back. He's decided now is the time to show what the Sons of Sparta are truly capable of. Red and blue energy swirls around the two, as their human appearance falls away, replaced by forms befitting the title of Devil. Virgil unleashes Judgment Cut End, as a flurry of slashes rends everything in its path. The two brothers charge into the remaining hetero creatures, like a storm approaching the base of the tower. By the time they reach the gate, the hetero creature attacks have died down. The Mirror Demon has realized this won't be enough to stop them, so it issues an open invitation, challenging them to reach the top of the tower. Inside is an open hall, with doors splitting off into numerous different paths. Dante opens up one of these doors, and is caught in one of the Mirror Demon's traps. He turns around with a grin, but Virgil moves faster, cutting down the creatures before Dante can say that word he hates so much. The others assume this word must be some type of magic spell. After all, the two have shown no end to their strange abilities, including those forms Dante called their Sin Devil Trigger. When they reach the 20th floor of the tower, they find another open room, but this time it's full of people, hundreds of kidnapped refugees. They can't fight the Mirror Demon while caring for all these people, so they split the group in half. Grey Raven will escort the refugees to the outside, while everyone else heads to the top of the tower. On the outside, the support force members see a massive horde of hetero creatures leaving the tower. They prepare for combat, but the hetero creatures fly straight past the defensive lines, and they realize that direction takes them straight to New Oakley. Back in the town, the evacuation is in full swing. Bridget tries to get Laika on a transport, and the girl admits the hetero creatures are after her, so any evacuation wouldn't work so long as she's around. Suddenly, more explosions sound in the distance, as hetero creatures breach the town. As they close in, poorly timed memories flash in Laika's mind, and the girl screams as a blinding light freezes all the hetero creatures in place. While the pause is brief, it buys enough time to allow for reinforcements to make their move. Egrid and Dark Ares arrive in the town, as Vanessa gives her orders, and her top priority is to figure out who or what Laika is. Having reached the 38th floor, they find it filled with screens and research equipment. This section of the tower must be what remains of the lab Thomas used for his experiments. This data will be useful to understand what Thomas did, and more importantly, how to fix it. The brothers head up to clear the next floor, and having promised Lucia she would watch over him, Alpha stays with Commandant. After the fighting, Bridget and Laika meet with Vanessa to explain who she is and what she did. Unfortunately, she remains just as clueless as everyone else, so Vanessa has Asimov continue his report with Laika present. Asimov looked into Thomas's identity and learned his wife died of a genetic illness, and that his daughter Laika died of the same illness at age 14. After hearing this, a dozen hazy fragments begin to coalesce into solid memories. During his experiments, Thomas opened a space-time portal, and what came through was the injured Mirror Demon. The mirror that served as its core split in two. One half merged with Thomas, and fueled by his overwhelming obsession, the other half transformed into this reflection of Laika. She is a demon born of her father's desire. She asked to go to Babel Tower, since now she remembers the two halves of the mirror are connected. As long as one half exists, the other will never disappear, meaning the Mirror Demon cannot be defeated without her help. Meanwhile, on the 39th floor, the two brothers pass the time by prying into the other's choice in women. Soon after, Alpha and Commandant arrive on the floor, and the party makes their way to the top of the tower. Before they fight the mirror demon itself, there's one last line of defense, a reflection of Virgil crafted from the red tide.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
The false Virgil is defeated, and as the group turns to leave, the mirror demon attacks from within the dust cloud. Lucia descends from the sky to intercept the attack, and having met up with Bridget at the base of the tower, she brought Laika with her. They catch Commandant up to speed on Laika's identity, a fact Dante and Virgil sensed some time ago, and explain their plan to free Thomas from the mirror demon, using the Yamato's power to separate human and demon. Virgil stabs the Yamato into the mirror demon and separates it from Thomas. Alpha comes in and tears it to pieces, as Dante and Lucia follow right after. But as long as the second half of the mirror exists, its body will be repaired by the punishing virus, and not even Alpha's power can block its connection to the network. After a moment of silence, Laika walks towards Thomas, who is reeling in terror over what he knows is going to happen next. When she first left the tower, he told her to experience the beauty of the world. After that, she met Alpha and Virgil, had fun in New Oakley, talked to new people, sang, danced, and ate tons of good food. She did what she was told, and now it's his time to let her go. He pulls her in for a hug as a white light spreads out from her body. He told her to live and see the world, and now she tells him to experience everything else in her stead, to live and be happy. As the light fades, all that's left of the girl is half a cracked mirror. The demon throws itself at Thomas, as blade after blade tears into its body. During the attack, everyone sees the glimmer of the demon's own mirror core, and their target couldn't be more clear. The eldest son of Sparta, the captain of Grey Raven, the legendary demon hunter, the strongest descendant, and humanity's ace. In perfect unison, they destroy the demon's core, a total victory, A perfect jackpot. With that, their mission comes to an end. Laika told her father all of the good things that happened to her, but how could a child on the run truly know the world's beauty? When she disappeared, they saw, just for a second, a single tear streaming down her face, proof that sometimes, even a devil may cry. A week after the Babel Tower incident, Virgil and Dante find themselves visiting a cafe in Babylonia's shopping district. Dante a classic strawberry sundae, and Virgil a simple water. The Science Council has been using Thomas's research data to help them get home, and with time to spare, the two brothers waste all of it pissing each other off. Naturally, the two end up in Babylonia's simulation training room. Without warning, Virgil attacks, throwing Yamato at Dante's neck and cutting the hem of his coat, but cheap moves don't get points. Dante's sword appears in his hand, and Virgil takes a stance. Without any signal, the two brothers charge in and clash as shockwaves and blood cover the arena. Whether it be their world or a brand new one, as if ordained by fate, the Sons of Sparta will continue their rivalry. The next day, the two are forced to relax after spending all of their energy fighting and destroying yet another training room, but thankfully the Science Council had a breakthrough. With Thomas's data and the Yamato, they construct a machine to use Virgil's portals to send them back home. He cuts the space in front of him, telling Commandant to give Alpha his farewell. Without missing a beat, Dante thanks everyone for their hard work and follows right after. The two brothers were remarkable in their own way and wholly unique in this world. While the chances of a second meeting are slim, no matter how improbable, the odds are never truly zero. Over the weeks the brothers spent coming to this cafe, the server had gotten used to their presence, to the point she memorized their usual order, a strawberry sundae and a water. This time, however, she finds Virgil by himself, and just for a second, his eyes linger on that sundae. Having never seen him smile, she brings him a sundae along with his water, a special treat on the house. After a long silence, he takes a bite, and just as he expected, it's too sweet. You know I had to do it. Had to try and feed off of some of those collab views. But you know, I definitely would have had this done earlier. But it's not that it's got nothing to do with the chapter or anything. It's because I was trying to do this video in addition to the other one. Like working on two at the same time. It did not work at all. I was thinking, oh, I could get two videos done at the same time. And that's not even close to what happened. What really happened is, for the deadline that I set, I ended up only getting like halfway done with both of them. And I was like, oh no, wait, neither of these are finished. That's a problem. So now I'm on like hyper crunch, but it's fine. I got it done. Hope you guys like it. I never actually played DMC, so I'd be lying if I didn't say I was like, you know, the smallest bit nervous about making sure I got, you know, a couple of terms right, because I know people really love their characters. But thankfully, I had some very helpful individuals to clarify things for me. I used to think Sparta was the Demon King, and like that's why Dante and Virgil were so strong, but apparently not. So now I'm wondering why exactly Dante and Virgil are that strong. Like, was their mom special? Was she a special human? Or was she just like Susan from down the street? I only say this because in the chapter, the mirror demon says like, oh, the older brother who lost to the demon emperor Mundus. So clearly the two of them are weaker than like the Demon King, but they're super strong to everyone else. I'm just wondering how strong they actually are. Are they stronger than their dad? These are questions I have, but I don't care enough about them to actually look it up myself. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed. Hope to see you guys in the next video.